Single parents, what's your best or worst dating story? 2 years after my husband died, I still kept his toothbrush in the holder. My 14-year-old daughter Mia noticed, but never said anything. One night while she was at her friend's house, I downloaded Hinge. Just browsing, I told myself. I matched with this guy named Derek who taught history at a different high school in our district. Our first date was at Barney's Brewery downtown. I kept peeling the label off my beer bottle while I told him about being a widow. He didn't do that awkward head tilt thing people usually do. He just listened. When I showed him pictures of Mia, he seemed genuinely interested, not just pretending. At home, I mentioned to Mia I'd met someone. She slammed her bedroom door so hard a picture fell off the wall. Dad's only been gone 2 years, she screamed through the door. I didn't tell her about the second date or the third. Derek and I fell into this pattern. We'd see each other when Mia was at her grandparents' or at friends. Sometimes he'd stay over, but he'd always leave before Mia came home. I wasn't ashamed exactly, just protective of her, of my guilt. 3 months in, I noticed Mia's attitude changing. She stopped slamming doors, started asking to go to her friend Jessica's house to study almost every Tuesday and Thursday. I was relieved until I found a prescription for Lexapro in her backpack. She never told me she was on antidepressants. The psychiatrist's name wasn't our family doctor. The next Thursday, I followed her after school. Instead of going to Jessica's, she went to Sweet Dreams Coffee. I watched from my car as she sat down with a man, Derek, my Derek. They talked for an hour, his hands moving animatedly like when he told me stories. She laughed, a real laugh I hadn't heard since before her dad died. I stormed in, nearly knocking over some college kid's laptop. "What the hell is this?" I demanded. The cafe went silent. Derek stood up, face white. "Emma, I can explain." Mia looked between us, confused. "Mom, you know Mr. Reynolds?" "Mr. Reynolds?" I echoed. "He's been counseling me at school." The grief group. She clutched her coffee. Caramel macchiato with almond milk, her dad's order. "How do you know him?" That's when it clicked. Derek Reynolds, the new grief counselor the school hired. The one I'd signed permission forms for months ago and completely forgotten about. The one who'd been helping my daughter while sleeping with her mother, who never mentioned this massive conflict of interest. "We've been dating," I said, my voice hollow. "For 3 months," the look on Mia's face. God, like I'd hit her. Derek tried to explain later. Said he realized who I was on our second date. Said he was going to tell me, but then weeks passed and it got harder. Said he was helping Mia so much he didn't want to ruin her progress. Said he was falling for both of us. Not Mia like that, but as someone he cared about. I had to choose. Report him and he'd lose his job. The job where he was the only person getting through to my daughter. But keeping quiet meant living with this twisted secret. I made my choice 3 weeks ago. Mia's smiling again. Derek moved to a different counseling position. Sometimes when I drop Mia off at her grandparents', I still drive by his apartment. Sometimes the lights are on, sometimes they're not. Mia doesn't know I still have his number. Sometimes the grief counselor needs counseling too.